Hi, good morning. It's Miss Amy and Millie. We are back up at the cabin today, taking a long weekend, and I thought that it would be a nice way to say goodbye to STEM for the summer, with our big grand finale coming from the mountains. And Millie and I've got some few fun things to do before we finish out for the year. So you want to say good morning, Mills? Say good morning, boys and girls. All right. So the first thing, I'm gonna get a drink. Yeah. We love you, Millie. So what I thought we would do today is make an underwater viewer, because we are going back to the pond, and we're going to do a little bit more hands-on research with the things that we see down there. We've got some fun stories and we've got some fun projects, but I thought we would start today with being able to actually see the creatures that live underwater. So what you need for this is either a clear container with a clear bottom. I got very lucky and was able, I actually had one of these in my house. But if you don't have one of these, I'm going to show you how to make one out of a plastic container, some rubber bands, and some clear plastic wrap. So I'm going to clip in and then we'll get started. Okay, so we're going back to the pond today, and I forgot to bring this the last time we came up. This is my field guide for the pond and pond animals. This one happens to be from Nat Geo Kids, but they sell all kinds of ones. So this is a good one. It's got all the different creatures that we're going to hopefully see today when we get to the pond. So I'm definitely going to pack this on my kayak so that if I find something I don't recognize, I can look it up right away. So our lesson today is we're going to try to look at things beneath the surface of the water. And in order to do that, you need something called a, I'm forgetting the word for it right now.
An aquascope, also called a bathoscope, is an underwater viewing device. It is used to view the underwater world, often from dry land or a boat.
So you could do that a couple of ways. I have a pouch that I could put my camera in and put that underneath the water. So I'm going to try to do that. The water was pretty cloudy, but we'll give that a try. But in the shallows, a nice thing to do is to make an underwater viewer. Now this one is just a clear container. It had cookies in it from Wegmans. And it's got a clear bottom. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plop that right in the water, and we're going to look and see what we can see. But I saw a tutorial on the internet that says it actually works better with a plastic wrap bottom, because the plastic wrap sort of bends and we get a not only an underwater viewer, but we get an underwater magnifying glass. So I'm not really sure if that's true. So what we'll do today is we'll try both and we'll compare which one we think works better. So this is my clear container with the clear bottom and the clear sides. And then to make our magnifying underwater viewer, you're going to need a plastic container or a Pringles container, just anything that is a cylinder. Well, I guess it could be a square. I don't think that it really matters. But so this one is what we had up at the cabin. So this is a sour cream container, some cling wrap, a scissor to cut off the bottom, and some rubber bands. Now, a grown-up is going to have to help you with the cutting part, but all you basically do is take off the top, and then we're going to use our scissor, and I already started the hole, to cut off the bottom. So we're going to cut a ring in. Now that's a little bit small, so I'm going to go a little bit bigger. What would be ideal is if I had my red utility knife that I keep in the STEM lab, but I forgot it, so we're just gonna struggle along with the scissor. Okay, so you just take your, we switched. I knew I said I was gonna struggle along with the scissor, but we have this, so we're gonna use this little multi-tool. So this is gonna be definitely something for a grown-up to do, but you can help with the rest of it, and then you can explore together with your grown-up. So we're gonna cut off the bottom of our whatever, yogurt container, sour cream container, Pringles container. I suppose you could use a can opener if you use a coffee can. And then, I don't think it has to be perfect. So then we're going to take our cling wrap, this plastic wrap, and we're going to stretch it over the bottom of the container. And the instructions I read said to leave a lot, because what you want to do is you want to wrap it tightly. Oh, that ripped, so we'll try it again. Let's just say this cabin cling wrap probably goes back from before most of you guys were born. We're not up here that often. So you're going to take your cling wrap, spread it out. All right, friends, so I know that I said that we were going to use cling wrap, but I made a scientific discovery. If the cling wrap is older than the students you're trying to teach, it doesn't work anymore. It becomes brittle and you can't stretch it. So we went through a few incarnations of me trying to get the cling wrap to peel, and they were all failures, which is fine, because in STEM, what do? We improvise and we improve. So we're going with plan B, which is to use baggies to cover this hole. So we're going to just use our scissors, and we're going to cut off the clear plastic section. And we're going to use that instead to stretch over the viewing window. So I'm just going to cut off this little extra zipper because we don't need it. And there we go. So now we've got a nice clear window. And we're going to just take our rubber bands and stretch it over. And then we're going to pull the paper plastic wrap nice and tight. And then we're going to secure it with a few more rubber bands to really get it pulled in nice and tight. And the directions I read said to bring it up as high as you can, because we don't want water to get in between. So we'll do rubber band at the bottom, rubber band in the middle, and the last one around the rim. So now we've got our underwater viewer. I'm going to cut that to just make it a little bit neater. But you can see we've got our recycled one, and then we've got our homemade one, and we'll test them both out. We'll see which actually gives us a better view into the underwater environment of the pond. So I'll meet you down there by the kayak. You want to say goodbye, Millie? Let's see if she'll come out. Say bye, guys. See you later. Love you. Mwah. So our story today is called Life in a Pond, and it is written by Carolyn Dean. And it's a nice science book. So let's take a look. Life in a pond. What are ponds? A pond is a small body of still, shallow water. So this pond is very still and it's very shallow. And compared to proper lakes, it is quite small. Ponds are found in many parts of the world. Ponds form in forests, on farms, and in cities. Ponds are smaller than lakes. Pond animals. Many kinds of fish swim in a pond. Fish breathe through gills. Ducks swim in the water. They eat insects. Ducks also dive underwater to look for food. We saw some ducks earlier. They tend to disappear when the people come. But if you get to the pond early enough, you'll see plenty of ducks. Frogs kick and swim in the water. Frogs eat insects. Pond plants. Water lilies grow in ponds. Their leaves float on the water. Their flowers bloom. Cattails grow in ponds. A cattail is a plant with a fuzzy brown tip. The tip looks like a cat's tail. Sunlight shines through the shallow pond water. Sunlight reaches plants that grow at the bottom of the pond. Look at that guy. Living together. Many plants and animals live together in ponds. Animals find food in ponds. Plants need pond water to grow. Ponds are full of life. And that's the end. So what I thought we would do today would be to use our water viewer that we just made up with Millie and maybe go to some of the places around the pond and take a look and see if we can see some of the underwater life in a pond. So I've got my pond viewer. Oh, look who came to rest on my book. We have a little damselfly. So we will paddle around to some of the shallows and I'll try to show you what we have underneath the still water of the pond. So I just came to put my kayak in the water, and do you see who's there? We've got a lizard or a salamander that's just getting ready to swim away. And look at right there, a big chubby tadpole sunning himself in the shallows. So maybe we'll be able to see some more cool things with our underwater viewer. Got some dragonflies. We're here up after the hurricane passed through, and They came and they did a little bit of cutting and cutting back some of the tall grasses. Maybe some trees fell that they had to take care of. So all of that grass that was super tall the last time we were up here has been cut. So I have a feeling we might see a little bit more wildlife this time out. So maybe we'll get lucky. Turn it on.
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to use our underwater viewers. The first one we're going to try is this one. Spence, come here. Now we had seen, they do work. Just a question of trying to get, we're here. I think it rained last night. I see a little fish. You see underneath? There we go. So we didn't really use our container the way it was intended. It was working. Oh, look, there's a baby too. This is gonna be cool. Let's do it like this. So the idea behind it, which would work, but I don't want to fall in the pond, is you take your pond viewer and then you can see the wildlife beneath. Right? Can you get him? Oh. Get your... So we're going to... Can I take him out? Do I dare? Or should I... Maybe I'll just pour out some of the water instead of trying to hold him. Look at that fun thing. We'll look him up in our field guide. Which I left at home, so we won't look him up in our field guide. Yeah, look at that guy. Little salamander. And look, there's a little, see that other little thing zipping around in there? Now let's see what we use our water viewer. You can definitely see him now. There's another, see these other little things jumping around in there?
Yep.
There's lots of life in the pond. All right, so I would rate this experiment maybe a mid-success. I mean, if I really wanted to go in and really get wet, this would be a good, can you raise it up a little?
Yeah.
If I wanted to go in and get wet, this would do the job. This one did not really do that great, but it certainly served as a receptacle. So this makes me want to go and see what's in the other areas of the pond. I want to hold him, but I don't know if he would like that. He doesn't seem too happy. We'll put him back in the pond. You ready, Todd?
Yep.
Now these guys are amphibians, which means they're happy on water and in land, so we'll put him out on the land and you could watch him go back in. Come on. There he goes. Don't you bother him, Spencer. There he goes, right into the mud. All right, so experiment 1, done. That's this.
Huh?
What are you doing? You could check out all the marsh frogs.